Are you just starting in health and safety, or you're making a transition to the field, or you just love health and safety as a field? You must have come across words like hazard, risk, near miss, emergencies, and this kind of words, risk assessment. And maybe you are asking yourself, what do these words really mean? Well, in today's video, I'm going to explain some of these terms that you can't escape hearing in the health and safety field. Number one on my list is hazard. Hazard is anything that can hurt you. Anything that has the potential to cause harm is a hazard. For example, you have wet floors, loud noises, sharp tools, trailing cables. These are all hazards and they can cause harm. The next word is risk. Risk means how likely that hazard can cause a harm and how bad it could be. So we can also say it's the addition of the likelihood and severity. For example, imagine an open manhole in a busy walkway and people are just busy walking all day without anyone inside. The risk of someone falling into that hole is very, very high. And when such an injury happens, you find out that the injury also will be very, very high. Number 3 on my list is incident. What's an incident? An incident is an unplanned event that could cause harm or almost did cause harm. For example, a heavy box nearly falls on someone's foot. That's an incident. Even though no one got injured, but it's an incident. There is no injury. Now that takes us to the next one, which is accident. Accident is someone actually gets hurt from that box falling down or something gets damaged. Another example could be a worker sleeping and falls, breaks his arm. That's an accident because something actually happened. And then this also takes us to the next term I'll be explaining, which is near miss. A near miss is a close call. No injury happens, but it could have happened. Another example could be a forklift nearly hits a worker, but doesn't hit the worker. This doesn't mean that it's not supposed to be reported or it's not supposed to be documented. It still has to be documented and reported and investigated so that it doesn't happen again. And if it happens again, it could lead to something tragic. The next term I'll be explaining is PPE. You must have heard this one, PPE. PPE means personal protective equipment, and this is an equipment or a gear you wear to protect yourself at work as a worker. So examples include gloves, goggles, helmets, safety shoes, and this is seen as the last defense when every other thing fails. It's the last line of defense. Another thing you must have heard is risk assessment. This is a documented check for hazards, who might be harmed, thinking about the hazards, finding ways to control it even before it happens, and then putting in place control measures and also reviewing it and documenting it. For example, before painting the wall at height, you have to check. You have to check, is the ladder safe? Is it okay to use? Is the ground flat? Is the area clear? Is everything okay? Is the person using the ladder competent? This can be harmed if an accident occurs. These are things you have to check in your risk assessment. Another time I'll be explaining is emergency evacuation plan. You must have heard this also, or emergency procedure. This is a step-by-step plan for getting everyone out safely during an emergency. When something happens, maybe a fire, the fire alarm goes off where you are staying. Do you know where you go to? What steps are you supposed to take? So that's why we need a plan or an emergency procedure. Next time I'll be explaining is safety culture. You must have heard this also. This is how seriously people in a company or an organization take safety. It's what they believe and how they act. For example, if workers always wear their PPE, report hazards, support each other, report incidents, that's a strong safety culture. If the management always provides whatever the workers need in terms of safety, that's safety culture. The next is control measures. These are actions we take to stop hazards from causing harm. For example, putting up a wet floor sign, installing guardrails on a machine, training workers. These are all control measures and they are very, very important in safety. So now you know some basic terms that are related to health and safety. I'll still be making another video that will explain some other more words. There are lots of terms in health and safety that you need to know. But if you are new to the field, these are some terms that you should know from the beginning before moving further. I remain Chris Safety. Remember to stay safe and stay smart.